Want to speak at all to the kind of mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of this journey?
The fear aspect is so powerful. That's the main thing I have needed to, and that I would think most people would need to work with, is releasing consciously at every turn and every point possible fear, because it's so normal and so human and so powerful that I think it's what's driving most of the political decision making in our country right now. I mean, fear is just huge. I've had to really discipline myself to acknowledge it, acknowledge the fear, like what's the worst case scenario, and then release it, like try to let it go, because it does not serve. The chemistry of the body invites cancer to thrive. I'm really working hard on letting go of fear, because the fear that my cancer is redeveloping or will come back, or that I'll get COVID and that I won't be able to handle it. Any fear and I think health are so connected. That's my main sort of psychological challenge, is not letting fear overcome me, accepting it, acknowledging it, because otherwise, you can't overcome it. You can't release it unless you identify it first. Yoga, meditation. I meditate every night. I stay in good touch. I have a very strong support circle of girlfriends. I talk to them a lot, and I kind of force a positive attitude sometimes, but that becomes real. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday she's like, why am I so down and depressed? She's like, I'm not financially strained. I've got great kids. I've got a great boyfriend. How is it that my friend with cancer is cheering me up? Because when you get a cancer diagnosis, you look at life a little differently. But when you think of somebody getting cancer, you kind of imagine that they're going to make different life choices.
Cancer is like the biggest wake-up call that there is. Cancer doesn't happen overnight. It's an accumulation of toxins that build up in the body, and it's over time, and it's not just the environmental toxins that may be present, but the mental and emotional toxins, toxic relationships, the toxic thinking, the self-judgment.
Yeah. Which is why I was so attracted to your approach, the connection between the mind and the body.
There's an acute situation such as, the saber-toothed tiger or the rattlesnake that I encountered on the trail when I was meditating. That freeze, fight, or flight response that's hardwired into our limbic system kicks in. It floods the body with our stress hormones, the cortisols and the adrenaline, which is a good thing, because in that critical situation, we need to run or fight and protect ourselves from a life-threatening situation. However, what chronic stress, shows up when we are kind of perceiving the world around us as a constant threat, constantly worried and fearful and anxiety-ridden, and what circulates in one's mind, and it may or may not be true. In this moment, is something threatening your life? If you're perceiving that there's always some threat that's there, it's like that steady drip of the stress hormones. It's that over time weakens and chips away at the immune system, that makes the body then more susceptible for an illness and disease to set in weakened areas of the body.
Exactly what happened to me. And I kind of knew it. I was going through some serious stress, asking myself, this is going somewhere. This is going to show up somehow.
Before your diagnosis, you're a really physically fit and active woman. And we're doing all the things nutritionally correct, kind of like my client in the movie Heal documentary.
I was feeling really not myself from probably spring of 2019, around my birthday, end of March. A lot around my mood. I was just not feeling well and feeling depressed, kind of up and down. And I need to stop putting anything in my body that impacts my mood. So I gave up alcohol, sugar. I became basically a vegan, and I tried to kind of cleanse. I still just wasn't feeling that great. So I was doing a lot of the right things, but even more so than usual. my passion is food system reform. It's reforming the system back to what we used to have. Nutritionally dense food from not too far away and not killing the soil or the air or the water or, the system with chemicals, blah, blah, blah. So I've always been a pretty healthy eater. Like, I will only eat meat from local farmers and for sure organic. And I don't even really trust the USDA organic. Know your farmer and all that. So I was definitely doing healthy diet. And I went even further down that path because I didn't feel well. Well, my body knew it had cancer. It must have been the cancer that was making me not feel good.
I mean, what do you think that was happening earlier on for you?
I would say mostly stress. I mean, I think I was having a year where I was consciously coming to terms with my experience of people and realizing that integrity was so hard to come by. Like, real, true integrity. Doing the right thing because it's the right thing, not because anyone's telling you have to. Not taking advantage of someone and not taking someone to the cleaners financially because you can. I had all these experiences where I was like, oh my God, people are freaking shysters. Where is the desire to just be a good person anymore? Really down about that. I was having personal experiences where people were just taking serious advantage of me because they could, and I'm a pretty smart, self-sufficient woman, but you don't know what you don't know. You don't know everything, and I was finding myself in this position of being taken advantage of and really getting me down. So, and I was very stressed out because I had no control over it. How did I get myself in this position, or how did I end up here? But I think it really had a lot to do with stress and stress hormones and stress chemistry in my body. Disappointed and sad and bummed out about people. That was really the sort of the state of mind and body, mostly emotions, that I was in when I started feeling bad. I felt like I kind of knew that this would happen, but something would happen because I was just so down. And
patterns that show up in one's adult life usually originated earlier on.
Yeah, learning what's operating in the background of your mind and body, sort of unconsciously because of your conditioning or your upbringing, and learning how to bring those into consciousness and release them because they're really not only not serving you but actually potentially making you sick was a big part for me, was learning.
It's going to do a little bit of coaching for a minute. There's, when you use the word you distance yourself from owning what you're saying and what you're feeling.
Yeah.
All of that, again, it totally resonates differently in your body when you use ownership language.
Okay, I own it.